This is the People Before Politics show, broadcast every Sunday at 6 p.m. Hosts Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson bring you the news that impacts our community. Join us for unfiltered, unapologetic coverage of the stories that matter most. Black Westchester Magazine presents the People Before Politics show, the news with the Black point of view. Justice has released a scathing report following a comprehensive investigation of the Mount Vernon Police Department in New York. The report finds widespread constitutional violations and systemic deficiencies in the department's practices. The New York Civil Liberties Union responded, stating, DOJ's extensive findings make clear that the Mount Vernon Police Department has a long history of violating residents' constitutional rights, with officers acting as if they are above the law. However, Black in Law Enforcement of America offered a more nuanced perspective, noting that many good officers are in the MVPD. The organization emphasized that the DOJ highlighted broader implications of years of leadership failures, stating, "This is not just about police misconduct, it is about political accountability." The report exposes years of leadership failures to implement the oversight, policies, and reforms necessary to prevent these abuses. The result is a department with systemic dysfunctions that disproportionately harm the people and the hard-working officers the politicians are meant to serve. The investigation, conducted by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York and the DOJ's Civil Rights Division, uncovered a pattern of excessive force, unlawful searches, and unconstitutional arrests by MVPD officers. One of the most egregious findings involved the routine practice of conducting strip searches and body cavity searches of all arrestees until at least 2023, regardless of reasonable suspicion. The problems extend beyond individual officer conduct. The report cites significant systemic deficiencies, including outdated policies, inadequate training, ineffective supervision, and a near-complete failure to hold officers accountable for officer conduct. Of all misconduct cases reviewed, discipline was imposed in only 8% of cases. These issues are compounded by severe financial challenges. The department struggles with basic infrastructure needs. Approximately 40 officers still lack body-worn cameras, and there's limited access to less lethal weapons like tasers. Starting salaries for MVPD officers are significantly lower than neighboring departments, leading to recruitment and retention problems. The DOJ has outlined 10 key remedial measures the department must implement, including enhanced use of force policies, improved supervision of searches, better supervisor training, and more stringent accountability measures. Mount Vernon and MVPD's current leadership has expressed a commitment to improvement and cooperated with the investigation.
Sure that they were able to obtain the information they needed. They've had full access to our leadership, our officers at every level, our corporation counsel's office to ask questions that needed to be asked. They have done interviews throughout the community, and they have put the report forward.
However, the report clarifies that substantial reforms will be necessary to address these deeply rooted problems and restore public trust in the department. Please like, share, and comment.
All right. Well,
so let me start. So since we did that and we got reports on the DOJ releasing the statement, releasing the findings, we got a story on the mayor and the city responding to it. We got other people, the New York Civil Liberties Union, and lastly, after you did the video, the Westchester County District Attorney Mimi Roker released a statement, and I just want to read part of that right now.
all right.
Upon taking office in 2021, based on my review of the Mount Vernon Police Department conduct, I wrote a letter to the Mount Vernon Police Department expressing serious concerns that members of the MVPD were illegally performing strip and body cavity searches as a matter of routine procedure. I also publicly called upon the DOJ to conduct a pattern and practice civil rights investigation of this and other conduct based on what I had seen, and have continued to make referrals to the DOJ and the Mount Vernon Police Department regarding problematic conduct throughout my term. Additionally, wrongful convictions for 27 individuals charged by the Mount Vernon Police Department in 2017 undercover narcotics operation were vacated based on investigation conducted by my conviction review unit. The DOJ report relies in part upon some of the findings from the CRU investigation. The DOJ report specifically points out the need to improve accountability and disciplinary procedures for the Mount Vernon Police Department when violations occur. I am sad for Mount Vernon community that they had to experience the conduct detailed in this report. It is my hope that these findings will lead to improved Mount Vernon Police Department oversight, management, and accountability. Not only will it make Mount Vernon and surrounding communities in Westchester safer, but it will also help rebuild the much needed trust between law enforcement and the community we serve. That's the end of her statement. Now, I wanted to say real quick before you get started, because, there's the haters, and they're going to go run back and say, we or I attacked Mayor Sean Patterson Howard. This is a failure of leadership to epic proportion, going back Mayor Ernie Davis, Mayor Clinton Young, Mayor Ernie Davis again, Mayor Richard Thomas, Mayor Andre Wallace for those 4 or 5 months or whatever it was, and Mayor Sean Patterson Howard. And also, not picking on her in anything, but pointing out the fact that we keep forgetting Mayor Sean Patterson Howard was also the chief of staff for the Richard Thomas administration. So when she campaigned on basically knowing where the bodies were buried and being able to fix it. That being said, I've always said no one elected official is going to be able to come in and correct decades of corruption just with a magic wand and just change it. That being said, and I've said this to the mayor on the phone actually in the last week or so, there are things that I believe that she could have done that she didn't do. There were things, some of these things did happen under her watch. And none of these officers were disciplined. One particular officer who was in the whistleblower tapes, and we've done several shows and had other people, listeners, call in and say, yeah, that's the cop that violated my rights. That cop is still working. Other cops that we've detailed have been allowed to retire and are living nicely off their pension because they were never disciplined. We've gone through several police commissioners, and the police commissioner works at the pleasure of the mayor. When you have a failure like this, it comes from the top down. It was a failure in leadership. Leadership in City Hall, leadership at the top of the police department, on and on. And again, not just this one administration, but again, there were things I believe that this administration could have done and did not do. And one of the major things is implementing a true CCRB, Civilian Complaint Review Board, for those that don't know what that stands for. Because I had a meeting as the vice president of the NAACP in Mount Vernon. I had a meeting with the head of the police department and the mayor, and that's when Glenn Scott was on his way out, but he was still there, and the guy who was replacing him was in the meeting. And they were trying to say that they only had 1 or 2 incidences that were reported to them, like that their numbers were down. And I think I disturbed many people in that room when I said, yeah, because they will call me quicker than they will call you. And then the new commissioner who came in, who's the only commissioner that I do not have a relationship with. I've had a relationship with every commissioner, cell phone numbers and everything. But this new commissioner I do not have a relationship with. He looked at me talking about, and he wasn't the commissioner yet. Glenn was, but he is now. Shortly after our meeting, he said, excuse me? I said, you heard what I said. They'll contact me quicker than they'll contact you. If the police have violated your rights, a lot of people are not going to go into a police station to file a report. And without a CCRB, a real CCRB where complaints can be filed and addressed, you don't get to these problems. We had situations where we had a whistleblower cop, and the DA at the time, Anthony Scarpino, said he couldn't find none of these witnesses. And we had a white reporter from New York City come to Mount Vernon for the first time, Joseph George. And it was amazing how he was able to walk the streets of Mount Vernon and find these very witnesses to talk on. And, and, and the district attorney at this time
Well,
could
not just
not
the
find these
district
people.
attorney, not
But
just
no,
Glenn
Scarpino
said
said,
it too. We
no,
can't
because
find the witness. We can't find the people.
Brett
What are you
Scarpino
talking
said
about?
that on our show in the interview that they couldn't find these people. And I'm like, George Joseph, who did not know Mount Vernon, because I had to be his ghetto tour guide the first time he came to Mount Vernon. I had to meet him at the Metro North and show him where people were, where to go. He walked the streets and got these people on video, on tape or cassette or video or whatever audio, and found them. And then wrote a big report about it. And one of the major police officers who was accused in all of this stuff, the whistleblower tapes, the witnesses, the victims, all of those people, he is still working. He still has a job. He still has a job at the Mount Vernon Police Department. So it is a epic failure, a failure of epic proportion on all levels of leadership. We helped Scarpino get out because he did nothing for Mount Vernon. And let me be clear, it's everybody's failed Mount Vernon. The federal government, the state government, the county government, we called for intervention from everybody for 10 years, and ain't nobody help us. Nobody. And none of the corruption that had took place in government corruption or police misconduct in Mount Vernon, everyone failed us. So now we did finally get this DOJ investigation. Mimi Roca, who used to work for the SDNY, she recommended it to some of her former peers in the DOJ for a pattern in practice, and we had this investigation, and now we have this report, and that's where we are now. I'm gonna let Damon. I just want to get some of that out, some of that. Go ahead, Damon.
Nah, man. So first, full disclosure. You know, my wife is a detective for the Mount Vernon Police Department, so we're going to do full disclosure on that. And
that's why I started out saying everything I said, because
yo, dude,
so it came from me. So it came from me.
No, let me make something. Let me make something clear. Let me make something clear. I know there's a lot of good officers in the Mount Vernon Police Department.
Absolutely. I said that
especially a lot of the new ones that I've met. But I'm just going to be honest to a lot of those new ones and the good ones. The Mount Vernon leadership failed y'all. I'm just keeping it. I'm just keeping it 100. They failed y'all. This report puts a stain on your good acts, and you literally didn't have anything to do with it. A lot of the perpetrators are gone, except Antonini, and I'm still trying to figure out how the fuck does he still have a job? How does he have a job? When George Joseph came to Mount Vernon, he found his victims.
And then when we did the show, people were calling up, hey, that's the cop who violated me. That's the cop who violated me.
I don't know. And I don't know how he still has a job. And this is what I told Wagstaff. You're over this. Nobody is going to trust you because Antonini still has a job. So how are you going to be district attorney and one of the main officers, one of the reasons the DOJ is in there, it's still working? We're having an honest conversation, man, because let's look at it this way. Let's look at it this way. You got black officers all over Westchester County. And I'm just talking about police departments. I'm not talking about corrections. Because historically, we have the most black officers, we have the most black supervisors, we have the most black commissioners and wardens and management,
The
historically.
Westchester Department of Corrections. Yeah.
The Westchester County Department of Corrections. Let's just look at the police departments. And we're not talking about Rayner now that's in the county. He just got there. He just got there.
And he just became the commissioner. He was acting for 2.5
this year.
He was acting for 2.5 years.
Right. He just became commissioner this year, so you can't add Rayner. Out of all the police departments, Mount Vernon Police Department is the only one that had black police commissioners. And if you have real conversations with other police officers from other departments that never had that feeling, you had something that no other black cop in Westchester County had was black commissioners.
I'm
not finished. It's black commissioners. And for years, what happened? What happened? I don't understand. It's a democratic city. It's a black-run government. You can't talk about Black Lives Matter and Republicans are racist, and you have a DOJ report that you allow police to do this to black people? And you think everybody's supposed to be okay with it? We can't be out here talking about police brutality in other cities. And then the city with the black-run government has a DOJ report like this. We're a bunch of fucking hypocrites. Like, I don't understand how you don't think how it looks, not just on the city of Mount Vernon, but just black people in general. And you pastors, even when Nicholas went to your black pastors for help because there was a problem in the police department, y'all snuck in the back door to the mayor like Nicodemus and backstabbed the cops. And now what y'all gonna do, pastors? Stick your head in the sand. This is insane. This is black on black racism or classism. Just because you got a little city job, you're gonna allow other people, poor people in your city, to be treated like that? And you got the nerve to stand around talking about Black Lives Matter? You got black mayor, historically black mayors, not just this one, but black mayors, majority black city council, black assemblyman, black senator, black county, you got a black county legislator, you got a white one, black county legislator, historically. And then, and this is what happens. You can't be the jewel of Westchester if you're being hypocritical. And as far as the CCRB, you don't need nothing to fund the CCRB because most of it is voluntary. What you need the fund for? They take the complaint, they send it over to the police department, and they monitor the progress. You don't need a budget for that. You need dedicated volunteers. And you missed the opportunity because this was one of the biggest contracts they had to make sure that their participation in the CCRB, the officers' participation in the CCRB would be contractual. You dropped the ball on that. No accountability measures in the contract. And you're being at that time you're being investigated by the DOJ, and nobody has the wherewithal to say, hey man, let's put some accountability measures in the collective bargaining agreement so we can hold them accountable. This is unacceptable. And it needs to be fixed. And I'm sorry, Miss Mayor, you have to give a timeline on how you're going to fix it to the people. Because they were the ones that are being violated. Yes, not all of it happened under you. Absolutely not. But you're the mayor now. You're the mayor at this time. And the buck stops with you. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but let me tell you, as a black officer, someone who dedicated 33 years in law enforcement, this is embarrassing. We should be better than this. We should be better than this. We should be better for those new officers that had nothing to do with this. They just coming in because they just want to be police officers and they just want to serve the community and do what's best for the community. We should be doing it for them and the community, but especially for them. Because if we don't, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go to another police department. I'm out of here. This is crazy. And please don't copy other police departments. Because one of the biggest problems of this is the Chiefs Association. I have to call them out too. There's a Chiefs Association. See, policies don't really change until the DOJ get involved. But if you want my advice, if you want to model your police department, then model it after Scarsdale Police Department, because they're the only police department that has national accreditation. And if you want to really know where your policies are, the organization is called CALEA. Google it. And have them come and give your police department an audit. See, I think we really got this law enforcement thing, and I'm not just talking to politicians. I'm talking to a lot of these police union presidents and a lot of these police officers that forget that they work for the people. And sometimes these academy instructors don't get it neither. And these trainers don't get that you work for the people. So there's a gentleman, class is in session. There's a gentleman called Robert Peel. They call him the father of policing. And there's 9 principles. There's 9 principles of Robert Peel. And I'm going to read some of these principles. Class is in session. You have to recognize always that to secure and maintain the respect and the approval of the public means also securing of the willing cooperation of the public in the task of securing observance and laws. The public. To recognize always that the extent to which the cooperation of the public can be secured diminishes the necessity to use physical force. Here's number 5. Number five is a big one for all y'all police people. To seek and preserve the public favor by not pandering to public opinion, but by consistently demonstrating absolute impartial service to the law and complete independence of policy and without regard to the justice or injustice of the substance of individual laws, by ready offering of individual service and friendship to all members of the public without regard to their wealth or social standing, by ready exercising of courtesy and friendly good humor, and by ready offering of individual sacrifice in protecting and preserving life. Policing today is so fucking far from the 9 principles of Peel, it's ridiculous. Now I could go on to other ones. Here's a good one. Number 9 is the last one. To recognize always that the test of police efficiency is the absence of crime and disorder, and not the visible evidence of police action in dealing with them. This is the father of policing. That's what they say. So when are police departments acting on that? That's what I'd like to know. There is no excuse that a black-run government in any year has their police officers violating the people that they claim to serve. There's no excuse. History shows us 2 things. That black people fought to make sure that they had black cops on the police force. And black people fought that to make sure that we have black elected officials in black communities. Those things should go together. We have to do better. We have to do better. And we have to do it. We have to do better for those new officers, and we have to do better for the community. Because if you don't, you're not going to have any respect in the community. The community and the police department is supposed to be one. Professor James Bell from Jackson State Community, Jackson State. He was the head of the Criminal Justice Department and the Sociology Department, and he also was one of my mentors. But he also was the originator of what they call today community policing. And when he created community policing, it was called extended community policing, because he said that. Why does he call it extending? Because the police department is not by itself. The police department is an extension of the community. And we have to look at that, because as Black people, we are extended people. We're not primary people. And why do you say that, Damon? Because if you look at a lot of Black families, we have extended families. We take care of our aunties and our uncles and our nephews and this and that. The primary nature of Europeans, they're primary. That's it. After the primary family group, they're primary. So when you look at policing as extended, that is part of the community. So all the functions of the community is based on how you have the public safety services within the community. So you can't have you can't have a primary, you can't run policing as a primary function in Black communities. It doesn't work. It has to be extended. It has to be connected to the different branches of how the community work, because public safety is a key part of Black communities. But see, when we don't have that mindset, and we're running a police department from a European standard of policing, even though Robert Peel, they ain't even close to Robert Peel, and he was European. We have to change the mindset of how we do policing in Black communities. But when you tell Democratic politicians that, especially Black ones, they don't get it. And this is why if you go throughout Black communities throughout the nation, the majority of them, they're out of control, because they're still running it from a European standpoint of policing communities. And even though Robert Peel is European, they even forgot about this dude. And he tells you that the police and the community are one. He tells you that. And I challenge any union president to contact us and come on the show and let's talk about policing in the community. Any of y'all. And this is why you got to be careful on and this is not jabbing anybody. All I'm saying, this is why you got to be careful on who you put in charge of your police department. You got to make sure they come from some conscious understanding of what policing is about in the Black community. And then when I say something, they say, "Oh, Damon, you crazy." No, I'm not. I'm not crazy. I've just been taught policing from some of the best Black law enforcement professionals in this country. But usually they never put them to the task because they don't want the institution to change positive for Black people. And these are Democrats. These are Democrats. And they come up with all this stuff. And I don't know if y'all ever saw some of these conferences. They're insane. That Black people go to, but yet they don't want to join the National Black Police Association, one of the oldest Black police. They don't want to join those organizations, the National Organization of Black and Criminal Justice. They don't want to join those organizations. They want to join these white ones, and they wonder why policing don't work in Black communities because you joining all these white police organizations using their theory on how Black communities should be policed. And this is what you get in Mount Vernon. This is what you get. Because you go into these white police organizations to learn how to police Black communities. Instead of going to a National Black Police Association conference, instead of going to the National Association of Blacks in Criminal Justice conference. You go to all these white police conferences to learn how white people police Black folks, and you come and you use it, and the next thing you know, you under DOJ. You better get it right. Yonkers just got underneath DOJ, the DOJ. And I swear to God, that had to be damn near 15 years.
Yeah, that was the other local news this week.
They just got up under DOJ. So y'all young officers with 5 or 10 years, by the time you get ready to retire, you'll just be underneath the DOJ.
Yeah, December 3rd, Mike Spano, Yonkers Police Commissioner Christopher Spinaza mark a historical day in the city history, announcing the compliance of a Department of Justice investigation, subsequently termination of an agreement to ensure constitutional policing.
Mm-hmm. And you know what's crazy?
Wait, and this began 2007.
Yeah, but wait a minute. But that's their second time.
Yeah.
That's their second time. Then everybody, oh, we follow what Yonkers doing. Yonkers been on the DOJ twice. These dudes wasn't even wearing name tags. You didn't know who you was getting your ass whipped by. And And please, people, man, stop following these. Stop following these protest profiteers that have no solutions for anything. Let me tell you something. Accountability of policy, accountability of training will kick racism's ass out any officer. Just holding him accountable. The problem is there's no accountability. There's no accountability. The commissioner's job is not to deal with morale. The commissioner's job is to make sure that his rank and file follow policy, period. And stay underneath the budget. Your morale is every 2 weeks when you get paid. Because you're making more than the average person in the city. That's your morale. So, I mean, you got to get it right. You're the only police department with black police commissioners. You got to get it right. There's no excuse. Captains and lieutenants, chiefs. There's some black officers that ain't never seen a black chief before, till maybe a couple of years. Just within the last 5 or 10 years. Ain't never seen a black chief. There's some police officers did 20 years. Ain't never seen a black chief or a black police commissioner in their department. Shit. Let alone a black lieutenant. Or a captain.
Or a black mayor for that part, who assigns them.
Exactly, or a black mayor.
Who appoints the police commissioner.
Come on, man. Like, y'all don't know how good y'all got it. Y'all have it good.
Now, I just want to say one thing in closing. Yo, every community activist, every criminal justice reform advocate or activist, everything that the people that march after these incidences that they call for, Mount Vernon has. They call for more representation, black representation and leadership. We got black mayor. We got a mostly black city council. They call for more black representation in police leadership. We got a black commissioner and all those other positions that Damon named. They even called for the good cops to speak up against the bad cops. We had a whistleblower cop in Mount Vernon. Everything that the people are fighting for across the nation, Mount Vernon has.
This holiday season, give the gift of health at unbeatable prices. Vita Health Nutrition's Black Friday sale is here. Stock up on premium vitamins and supplements for up to 25% off. That's right, 25% off all products. From immune support to peak performance, we've got you covered. Premium multivitamins, advanced protein formulas, essential omega-3s, and much more. We never compromise on quality. Every product is made in FDA-registered facilities, third-party lab-tested GMP certified, 100% manufactured in the USA. Don't miss out. Black Friday deals start now. All products are 25% off using code VITA25, your trusted partner in wellness. Shop now at vitahealthnutrition.us. Wait a minute. For our Black Westchester family, you get an extra 20% off. With code BW20, that's 45% off for your health and wellness. Vita Health Nutrition and Black Westchester Magazine are committed to the health and wellness of our communities. Don't miss out on this special deal for the holiday season. That's a total of 45% off for our Black Westchester family. Take advantage of this deal while it lasts. Black Westchester Magazine's People Before Politics show every Sunday at 6 p.m. It's the news with the Black point of view.